the ground, but again he can't beat the fielder at mid-on, who is Tom Wesley. It is the end of the over, the end of the 5th over, and Sussex shunts are 37 for 1. McLeod on 1, Thomason on 15. You're listening to live cricket on BBC Radio Essex and BBC Radio Sussex. Myself, Adrian Harms, alongside Nick Gledhill.
Yeah, and it's been good for Essex so far. Plummer's bowled particularly nicely. Quinn, that last over a little bit of a mix, but certainly so far this Essex seam attack with Cook, I think, about to come back into it. He bowled the opening, Harmer delaying any introduction of the power play, but this has been a good start. 37 for 1, not a bad score, but off 5 overs on a pretty good pitch, and no real timing from the Sussex batsmen, in contrast to the progress of Lawrence and Wesley at this stage, which was quite scintillating. They went almost 12 and over, 118 in exactly 10 overs was their partnership. Here's Cook coming into bowl, and this is driven by McLeod, but straight to mid-off. So quite a few dot balls being sent down at the moment. 37 for 1.
Yes, when you look at Luke Wright, it shows how invaluable Luke Wright is to Sussex. I mean, his 20 came off just 13 balls with 5 boundaries. He's been in super form, but you know, Sussex have had other people who have stood up. Ray Rawlins has made runs, David Wiestra has made runs, so no need for Sussex to panic just yet.
Not yet, but Essex just on top at the moment as Cook bowls, and that's just run down off the open face, but it goes straight to short fine leg. It's Quinn. Because it gets to him fairly slowly, they know there's a chance to run a single there, which they do, but again it's just the one run, and Sussex not quite capitalising on the power play at the moment. 38 for 1.
During the county championship game, Nick, I know you were here for the first 2 days, and the last 2 games we were asking what parents or relatives of the players or ones got in touch, which was very nice. So I don't know if they're listening today.
Is Cook at 38 for 1. He bowls, and again no real timing from Thomason. He just plays it off the back foot back down the pitch, and Cook fields in his follow through, and this is just adding a little pressure to the Sussex middle order to come.
And tricky for Aaron Thomason, because it's the first time he's opened the batting for Sussex in T20. He will know that there's a bit of pressure. He's trying hard. It's difficult to know what to do, isn't it? Because he stroke makers down the order.
Certainly Essex doing well at this particular stage as Cook bowls, and he hits this now down the ground. That's better, and it goes through straight mid-on for 4. Walter at mid-on had no chance of getting across to that, and hit that pretty straight, just to the onside of straight. It was a slower ball from Cook, but put away nicely for 4 runs, so that will just give Thomason a bit of momentum, but he'd like one more boundary, I think, to round off the power play. 42 for 1, and we're 4 balls into the 6th over.
Just looking at the required run rate is up to 10.9 and over, so let's call that 11 for the sake of argument.
Yes, here is a hit in the air. It's going up beyond mid-on. I don't think it'll be a catching chance. It bounces past Walter. He didn't time it at all. Got away with a rather fortunate 2 there. Did Thomason. Skied it, but got it over Walter's head, and therefore no chance of a catch. It fell over his shoulder, pitched between himself as he's running back to the boundary rope. He's hauled it in, and there are just a couple of runs, but he goes to 21, 44 for 1.
Yes, and he's probably thinking, well, it's virtually the end of the power play. If you finish it off with a boundary, that'll be nice for Sussex.
That would be better, wouldn't it? As here is Cook again, bowls to Thomason, who gets a good one from Cook, which beats him outside the off stump. He was trying to hit that square through the offside, but wasn't really there for the shot. But all told, another pretty good over for Essex. That 44 for 1, no great damage done. 6 overs have gone. So the target 198, so for the 154 required in 14 overs at 11 and over, and 9 wickets in hand, still anybody's game, but Essex looking to push that asking rate up.
Yes, and you're listening to live cricket here on the BBC, BBC Radio Essex, BBC Radio Sussex, also via the Sussex web stream. If you want to watch the pictures of the game, then please go to the Sussex web stream. The lads will be working feverishly away to make sure you've got pictures of what's going on, and you'll be able to see via those pictures what a glorious afternoon here at home. There is literally not a cloud in the sky. For mid-September, the weather is absolutely glorious. What we are going to see is the introduction of Simon Harmer, who's going to come on and bowl its off-spin. He got a lot of friends down here, Simon Harmer, particularly during the Bob Willis Trophy match, where he spent some time with the young Sussex off-spinner Jack Carson before the start of play, and Sussex spoke very, very highly of Simon Harmer, and also some of the young Sussex batsmen. I'll come back in a moment, as in comes Harmer and bowls, and forward comes McLeod. Some of the young Sussex batsmen spoke to Tom Haynes being one of those, who then went out and made 100 at the Oval and said how good it was.
Rubbed off then.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, absolutely. In comes Harmer over the wicket bowl, shorter, and there's a loud appeal to umpire Gould, who says that's not out, and Sussex will get a couple of leg byes down towards fine leg. Just wait for the umpire's signal. In fact, they were runs.
And that's probably what saved him, inside edge onto the...
Yeah.
Presumably, it must have hit the pad, obviously, but inside edge onto the pad and run past Pepper for 2.
2 to McLeod, he goes to 4. Sussex 46 for 1 in the 7th over. Harmer in again bowls and swept by McLeod. Good shot down to deep mid-wicket. There's a fumble and it very nearly allows McLeod to come back for a couple of more runs.
Aaron Nijar just managed to get control of that in the end. He fumbled it, but got control of it before they could seriously think of a second run, so reacted quite well.
Harmer, who does rattle through his overs. He's changing the field now. There are 3 men out on the leg side, 2 on the off. He's just bringing another man into the circle on the leg side. So 2 men in on the onside, 2 on the off, as in comes Harmer and bowls. And that's a big shot by Aaron Thomason. That's 6 runs. That's a really good blow by Thomason. Foot down the wicket. And that was a beautiful shot. Lovely timing over mid-wicket for 6 runs. He goes to 27 off 21, and the Sharks to 53 for 1.
Yeah, it's important for Sussex they don't fall too far behind this asking rate, which has gone up to 11s. So just a couple of boundaries in each over needed, and that certainly will help them.
Harmer again. On his way in, bowls to Thomason, and Thomason just works this onto the onside. This time takes a single. It's good batting by Aaron Thomason, who's just growing in confidence here. He goes to 28 of 22 deliveries, and the Sharks to 54 for 1.
Yep, so that 6 has just dented Harmer's first over, which had been going pretty much according to plan up to that point.
Harmer in again, bowls, and played into the onside this time by McLeod, and there is no run. He goes to 5, the total to 55 for 1. It's the end of Simon Harmer's first over. I'm going to nip off and do an update to the listeners on BBC Sussex. I'll be with you in a couple of overs.
So 11 and over the requirement, 55 for 1, and a lot of powerful batting to come, so these two need to keep things moving, even if there's a risk of getting out, which will always be in T20 of course. Essex will be hoping to keep these two tied down and therefore create pressure on the middle order batsmen to come. Now, Aaron Nijar is going to come on to bowl his first over, and interesting how well his Sussex counterpart, Delary Warlins, did. Very effective 3 overs for 18. If Nijar can match the text of this game, he's going to bowl to McLeod, who's not really got going yet. 6 from 7 balls, and he'll drive this one away through the mid-on gap up to long on water and collect what will be his 7th run. So 56 for 1, so 142 required. And we're just into the 8th over. Just the 4 men saving 1, 3 of them on the offside, the rest on the boundary, a flatter one, and this is play between backward point and extra cover through to the sweeper on the deep cover boundary. It's Sam Cook, and 1 more goes to the total. Essex have to win to have any remote chance. Here's Nijar bowling again, and that's driven away on the bounce and gathered in by Harmer. Just actually bounces slightly awkwardly in front of him, but he prevents any runs, and again they're being tied down. Nijar again from the Cromwell Road end bowls. That's hit on the bounce back to Nijar. He gets a hand to it. Wasn't a catching chance. They just get a single. It's another effective over this. Very, very tight. Nijar following the example of Rawlins earlier on with some very effective slow left arm. He comes into bowl to Thomas. Probably get the 1 run as it goes out to Cook, who comes in very quickly, just running across in front of a scoreboard at deep cover. Prevents the second. This is a very good over. 59 for 1, and these two mustn't put too much pressure on the middle order to come, you feel, from the Sussex angle. This is a better shot, a sweep shot, but again there's a man on the boundary there at long leg, so good pressure cricket that from Aaron Nijar. Really kept that very tight, very effective over indeed, and it's pushed the asking rate up to 11.5. 60 for 1, McLeod 9 and Thomason 30. 60 for 1, chasing 198, and we've had 8 overs.
Yes, I'm going to do my update in a few minutes, Nick, so I'll do this over from Simon Harmer. A couple of emails come in, one from Jeff Lloyd from a sunny and warm Lancing. Hello Adrian and Nick, an interesting game here. I think Essex must make over 200. He sent this in a little while a little while ago, but thank you, Jeff, for getting in touch. Yes, at the moment, Essex just with their noses in front, you think, because in comes Harmer and bowls, and hit on the pad. That looks very out. Absolutely, it's out. Playing across the line, and even from this distance, Callum MacLeod looked absolutely dead in front, and Harmer picks up a wicket, and MacLeod is on his way for 9, and the Sharks 60 for 2. Now needing to score the best part of 12 and over.
Yeah, and they're going to need that middle order to fire. It may not be the worst thing, that, because MacLeod net going, and they couldn't really afford for too much longer, and now I think it's a question of whether this strong middle order can really make an impact. But good forward decision. And here comes Delray Rawlings.
Yeah, who's the birthday boy? 24 years old today, Delray Rawlings. So happy birthday from everybody here in the commentary box and at Sussex Cricket Club. We've had an email in. I was talking about Matt Quinn, and Matt Quinn's Surrey-based Aunt Susan and Uncle Ian are thoroughly enjoying the game on the commentary, hoping for a long-awaited Essex win, they say. So thank you very much for getting in touch. They were listening to the Championship game, actually, as were quite a lot of the Essex players, other halves, and Sussex players. So it's lovely to know that we've got you listening, and maybe you're watching on the Sussex stream, which is excellent. So I hope you're enjoying that.
There's as good a chance of an Essex win here as I think in any of the previous games, but can keep taking regular wickets.
So Simon Harmer's going to come into Delray Rawlings, who made a very good 60, was not out on Saturday down at Canterbury and batted beautifully. And big responsibility here for Delray as in comes Harmer and bowls, and Rawlings is forward to that first ball and just plays it in front of it. It's a dot ball, and there is no run. So 60 for 2, the required run rate up to 11.8 and over for Sussex. Thomason on 30 off 24. As Harmer is already back to his mark and is in around the wicket to the left-handed Delray Rawlings. He's in and bowls, and Rawlings works this one onto the onside. They're going to take one, they'll look for 2. They'll need to be very quick between the wickets, and there really wasn't a second run there. And good fielding coming in. Who's that out there, Nick?
I think was it Lawrence just moving across in front of Plum?
Right, very good bit of fielding, just prevented the second run. It's quite difficult to run 2s here at Hove, and the fielders have to really be on their toes. As Harmer again has now got these 2 men back deep on the leg side, and in comes Harmer again around the over the wicket rather. Bowls to Thomason, who works that down to long on. He goes to 31. Aaron Thomason off 25 deliveries, and the Sharks to 62 for 2. The required run rate now up to exactly 12 and over.
None of the power hitting that we saw earlier though from Lawrence and Wesley.
Harmer again. He's in round the wicket, bowls to Rawlings, who's forward and plays it straight back down the track. They need to hurry there. Harmer gets in the front. I think Rawlings may well be out. Well, I'm not sure Ian Gould could see.
Had his back to it.
Yeah, he did. And Simon Harmer's got his head in his hands.